reversing a lot of things and making it a very difficult situation. But if you use your natural curl pattern and understand the follicular levels, the fiberistic levels of your hair, then you won't have to use that much product. You won't have to make it so tight. You'll be able to use the curl pattern, the natural form, the natural growth, and everything that goes along with it just to get a dreadlock formed, especially on the natural African American hair that has a really unique curl pattern to it already. So once I've got those started, they have been matured. Some people can take up to a year, some people can take a year and a half, just depending on the curl pattern, how tight to how loose. Once we get them matured, then I start to do a technique of palm rolling. Now palm rolling is completely different because you're taking the hands and you're actually working with the hair. You're working with the hair to keep it smooth and to pretty much train it in the way you want it to go. Hair is very trainable and it will do exactly what you say do when you say do it. So just basically taking your palms and working the hair in such a motion will get your hair to start locking and holding the place that you need it to hold in with just a light amount of products and the understanding. Because once it gets used to it, after that first phase that you're gonna go through, it's just gonna start hanging there and it's gonna do its job even in your sleep, even while you're walking down the street, talking to your boyfriend on the telephone. Just living your daily life, your hair is gonna do what it's gonna do naturally because it's trained and it's growing to grow that way. So first we wanna start with, after you just get the mindset of what your retwist is, after your locks have matured, we're gonna start with shampooing your locks. Shampooing your locks is not a risky task. It is not anything hard to do. As long as you understand what steps in your shampoo regimen you need to take first with your mature locks, you'll win automatically. Now, before I get my locks started with my shampoo process, or even in my retwisting process, I want to do a deep scalp analyzation, just making sure that in that scalp, in that head, that everything looks good, is even, is congruent, is healthy. There's no breakage, there's no nothing that I may be able to snatch out during the shampoo process or kind of alter or reconfigure during the shampoo process. So I'm gonna look at all of that first. Even at the scalp, making sure that there's no abrasions, making sure that there's no rashes or anything forming in there, because I don't want that on the scalp either. Even though we're about to go through a cleaning process, I still want to make sure that the scalp is in a healthy state from the inside out and not just from the outside in. So first what we're gonna do is I start off with my organic cleanse and my lock wash spray. The organic cleanse, which is now called oat protein and henna, is my clarifier. It has a wheat germ and an oat protein in it that keeps the hair strong during my shampoo process. So you're getting a protein treatment as well as a shampoo, a cleanse, and just ultimate level of health with vitamin restorants at the same time. Now my lock wash is something I formulated to spray into the ends of the locks, because everybody I watch the shampoo locks and natural hair, if they're not saturating the bottom of their locks with something crazy like Dawn or ACV or something of that sort, just to keep it clean, because they're not taking the shampoo and manipulating through that area, you're just drying it out. So I came up with this solution, which is just shampoos and different astringents and different things put into one that can come into a spray form to where it can be breaking down the ends of those locks, as well as while you're scratching and manipulating, you're breaking down the moisture and the dirt and all that in the scalp area where there's extra skin and cells and all of the above, all the real nastiness set. So while you're working that in, you want to scratch those first two shampoos while allowing your lock wash to sit in the ends of that hair and just work its way on out. Now while you're scratching, you want to squeeze at the same time. Your first shampoo will not lather. It won't do anything, because that's the shampoo that really removed the most dirt, the most of that outer layer of filth that you had there that you could feel, that but you most definitely couldn't always see. Now, after we implement this process twice, the lock washing and the oat protein and henna, we're gonna go from that clarifying mindset to a moisturizing mindset. And that's where we're going to use the what is it called now?
Great afternoon.
Honey cream. Excuse me. Now, in the honey cream, this is one you're gonna rub through. You're not gonna scratch this through. Your honey cream moisturizing shampoo is going to start to restore your shampoo process with moisturization. It's gonna start to restore the scalp with a few of those things that you've already taken out. A lot of these things you guys have heard me say over and over and over again. I'm sure you by now, some of you can speak it to me in your sleep. But even still, I'm going to reiterate it here so that you can understand in mature locking how to shampoo and wash it. So once you put this shampoo on, this will be your third shampoo. you're gonna see an ultimate lather, like a big pillow puffy cloud in the sky lather with this one. The hair is extremely clean and we're putting moisture back. So with rubbing this through, those suds are going to disappear, which telling you that that hair has absorbed a good portion of the things that you were putting in there, which is perfect. That's exactly what you wanted to do. You want that hair to take in all of those nutrients, that moisturization, all of the above, and make it work for the greater good. Now, lastly, the most important thing, a part of this process is conditioning. A lot of you guys are scared to condition because you say it's going to build a buildup, or somebody told you not to do it because it is, because of that. If you put too much, yes, it will be a buildup because it's creamy. These locks that you have made now are a sponge. So you definitely want to watch that, and especially in your shampooing process. So then after that, you want to rinse that out. After letting that sit for 15-20 minutes, maybe under the dryer, you're going to start to rinse that out. And that shampoo, conditioner, whole process all has that same wheat germ and oat protein in it. That's going to help the hair grow strong, last long while you're maturing in your locking phase. So after you continue this process and you let them sit under the dryer for 15-20 minutes, then you can start the retwist after your rinsing phase. 4 years ago, I started this person's hair. And 3 years ago, I started this person's hair. So pretty much what I want you guys to understand is the foundation that we set here to get the lock started is pretty much what we're working off of. And so now that the hair has matured and has grown, whether the locks are small, big, the hair is fine, or not, we understand the lock to part ratio, the curl pattern, the porosity, all of the above. And now we can start retwisting using our light free products that are pretty much going to help train the hair, hold the hair, and give it a soft level of moisturization and hold at the same time. I'm not really focused on a major hold. A lot of people already want their locks to be hard, stiff, and all of the above, just to make sure that the retwist lasts for 3 to 4 weeks and all this other kind of stuff. I can tell you this now. There will be times where your retwist will revert back to its normal self within the next 2 weeks. It's not about you losing money. It's not about your hair losing integrity or nothing's holding or nothing's happening. Your hair is still locking because it's still tangling. It's trained at this point, especially after years, to go through that format of tangling and doing its job. So what we start with first, after the shampoo and deep condition process, we go into the soft solution, which is my lock and curl spray. I spray this through the back of the head first. As I'm working through the middle head, I may spray a little more, and then once I get to the front and my final finish, I'm going to spray my last bit. Using this solution in this way, the solution actually runs through the scalp, to where I don't have to just saturate the hair and worry about the hair. I'm worried about the scalp and holding and getting the nutrients from that light solution as well. After I pretty much apply that, then I'm going to go through the whole head with a small amount of my tight hold by Tulil Wajid, just putting a small amount in my comb and combing it through the hair. Being that this is a topical aid and you're working with hair that has held on to dead shaded hair and that this is just sitting on the hair, I don't want to use that much because it doesn't take that much to offer a perfect hold and to give it what I need. Now the hold that I'm speaking of that's perfect is still very flexible, it has a lot of porosity, and if you feel the solution that I'm using, it has a lot of levels of hydration and moisturizers in it. That does not give it a build-up factor, nor does it make it any type of greasy, uncomfortable type of situation. No flakes, no dandruff, none of the above. The scalp and the hair is still able to breathe, it's still able to work well together, and the hair will still grow. Also, after the products, you have to understand tension levels. In your level of tension, you want to make sure that just your lock is laying down, it is healthy looking, you don't have to worry about roping it over. And I'm not one of those people that do the whole gimmick of I don't use clips, I don't use this, I don't use that. I'm old school. I use a comb, I use my products, and I use clips. Those things are important to me because it just guarantees me a beneficial, successful outcome when it comes to my retwisting. And I don't have to do so much work like twisting, and then throwing it over just to make sure that it stays where I need it to stay. I can twist it lightly, put my clip in it, and it's gonna stay regardless because that's what I'm training the hair to do. And after a while, once the hair has matured, as I said before, then it'll be in the mindset to go ahead and do that. You won't be confusing the hair. I do not start off my locks with the palm rolling technique. I start them off with the coils so that the hair can get a foundation of that cylinder look and it will look nice, even, and smooth. Even though her hair is fine and she has a head full of them, one, she has never lost one, and two, she does not have pregnant ones, meaning that even if she goes a month to 2 months without getting a retwist, her locks will not bulge at any point in any place because of the way I clip my locks and the way that I hold them down. Clipping also is very, very, very important. A lot of people feel like each lock should get one clip and you should clip it at the root. We're not focusing just on the root. You want to focus on the entire lock itself. So if I'm twisting and I'm holding it all the way down to here, this is where you want to clip it. This is going to be the best place of clippage to make sure that everything that you just retwisted is held in. From frizzy hair to all of the above. Now, frizzy hair is dry hair. Anything frizzy is pretty much unruly, unkept at that point in time. So if you haven't been conditioning, you have not been moisturizing, you have not been implementing the right nutrients and oils to your value of hair, you're going to have frizziness. That does not mean go cut them off and prune up the side of your hair, because then you're weakening your foundation of lock at that point in time. So what I do when I have those type of situations, after we do the deep conditioning and we do the whole entire retwist and I see what's not going to stay, I take it and I use a a lock extension method, and I just pretty much take those hairs and I wrap them into the lock as such, just making sure that they stay. Because I want the retwist and the understanding of the retwist to come out as neat as possible, so that when others see you and you see yourself, you are comfortable with the idea of locking, and you don't feel like this is going against what your job is talking about, what your girlfriend or your boyfriend is worried about, and you just don't look crazy. Because a lot of people will go home to their mothers and their mother's like, what in the hell is in your head?
Oh, hell no!
In this case, you don't have that problem because you still look human. You still have a healthy head of hair, and the hair is going to grow. If you could say that you had any issues, Tam, with your hair, what would be one of those issues?
Really, nothing really. I haven't had an issue.
No? She works out 5 times a week. She sweats, like she just spoke to me a few minutes ago. She said she sweats profusely because she's doing a new boot camp program, and a number of things that go along with that. A lot of you guys will have to embrace your puff and still understand that every 3 to 4 weeks, you still need a retwist. I understand you want that thing to hold and you feel like, you know, I like the nappy look or whatever, but once you get your hair on a regimen, that regimen is very beneficial to stick to, so that you can work well with the program of locking and understand what it's taking and the risk values that go along with it. Because not only can this rip your hair out, it can break your hair off. I've seen a lot of people have follicular issues from it. I've seen people have just straight up breakage from it and all of the above. Also, one thing I want you guys to know is my girl here colors her hair. So that has never taken anything away from it either. There could be a chemical imbalance going forward on your retwist that can cause an issue for those that are coloring and doing all those harsh colors, bleaching and all of the above, and not conditioning it and giving the hair some moisturization and level of protein so that as it grows, it stays strong and long. So there's a whole number of things that I think you guys should think about when it comes to doing your retwist, and not just focusing on how tight that retwist is or pretty much how long it's going to last. It's going to last as long as your hair and your lifestyle allows it to last, but reversion is fine. That means the hair is still alive, that hair is still in place, it still has some type of value because it's reverting back to its natural self. Now, if it just stays in that retwist format, you have a possibility at that point of having stretch damage, heat damage, or a number of other levels of damage that can come along with you retwisting on hair, because again, your hair did not come out of your scalp to be retwisted on. Neither did it come out of your scalp to hold on to a lot of dead, shady weight. So pay attention to when you're doing the retwist and someone else is doing your retwist. If it feels too tight or if it feels just uncomfortable, that's not what we're here for. None of my clients have ever came in and said that this was just extremely painful unless they were tender-headed themselves beforehand. And then once I found that you were tender-headed, I went through a different mechanism to figure out what we can do, how we can do it, so that you're not just extremely uncomfortable. I'm tender-headed too. I don't want you pulling on my damn hair. So I know you don't want me to pull it on yours.
Okay.
So understand that tension value versus your product value and everything that goes along with your locking lifestyle, and I guarantee you will be successful. Watching this video that you see here before you will show you someone that's been growing for 4 years. She's a Caribbean girl. She pretty much follows a regimen, works out every day, does the same thing everybody else is doing, but her locks have still grown. We were able to style them and do a number of things to them without any type of breakage, hurt, harm, or damage to her hair. And this hair is this long. I started them myself, as well as I have been taking care of them personally from start to now. I mean, other people may have touched them, other people may have done certain things to them, but when it came to the ultimate care, she entrusted me with that, and I made sure that I worked hard to give her the outcomes that she was looking for, which again is another very important factor in this game. I like my clients to just be able to sit down in the chair without any issue, get retwisted, get everything that they're looking for, and still be able to go home. So after you get your shampoo and your deep condition, you get your retwist, you sit up under the dryer and all of the above, you come from under that. If you don't feel satisfied, if you don't feel that what your stylist or your friend or whoever has done your hair has given you a greater level of benefit or a greater cause here, then you may need to find someone else or rescope your products or whatever the case may be, just to make sure that you get where you need to be. Because once you find out that your hair is being screwed over, it's a possibility that there is no return. You don't want to start doing a bunch of repairs to it, or there could be more and more issues going forward.